All right, everyone, welcome back to my channel, Brews and Braps. And while I'd normally be having an actual brew, I got a track day tomorrow on this 2024 Hypermotard 698, so I'm going to stick with non-alcoholic light today. Make sure I'm not hungover for the early start tomorrow morning. So, anyways, just wanted to give you guys a quick update on the bike. If you follow this channel, you've probably seen videos of this bike before, but all my videos were recently deleted from YouTube, so I'm back and starting over, and just thought this might be a good chance before the track day to kind of provide an update of what I've done to the bike so far since I've owned it. I bought this bike when it first came out. It was actually one of the first ones here in Southern California, and I was one of the first as well to have the Termi exhaust. So I feel like I have enough seat time on the bike to not only talk you through the upgrades that I've done, but also just give you my experiences with it so far. This bike is mostly a track bike. I do ride it occasionally on the street, but not very often. So, you know, most of my riding and experiences, again, have been at the track with the bike. So, all that said, I'll just walk you guys through a couple things. Like I said, this is a 2024 Hypermotard 698 Moto. This is the base edition. They do make the RVE edition, which the RVE comes with some nicer plastics and glossy graphics, and then the quick shifter. And I personally don't like this style. It's kind of a graffiti, very busy style on the RVE. So I chose to get the base model, which is just plain Ducati red. But the plastics on the base model are pretty poor quality, to be honest. Like very flat, very dull. Just doesn't look like you would expect a Ducati to look. And I know this is a relatively cheap bike, especially for a Ducati, but nonetheless, I just was not happy with the quality of the plastics. So I pulled all the plastics off the bike and I took them down to Bell's Auto Sport in Huntington Beach here in Southern California, and basically had them remove the old decals, prep the bodywork, and then paint it Ducati red, and turned out really nice. Now it has a proper nice gloss finish like you'd expect on most other Ducatis, like on my V4R. And you know, the stock decals even on the base model have like an outline around the decal itself, which is a different color than the red, so it just really stands out and doesn't look very nice at all. So it's a little hard to tell in this lighting here in the garage, but I'll try and get some photos and video of the bike outside. But it really does now look a million times better, and again, just a really nice, simple, but glossy and very nice paint job. All these decals were custom done to match the OEM decals, but again, underneath the clear, and everything turned out really, really nice. Of course, me being myself, was prepping the bike for the track this morning, and my transponder mount, which is now nice and low, previously had mounted up here, and I wasn't thinking, turned the handlebars, and put a nice little scratch right here in my brand new freshly painted plastics. So kudos to me for that, but we'll get Bells to clean it up and make it look good again. But anyways, that's the most recent modification I've done to the bike. Other things I've done, I included, or added I should say, the factory Ducati Performance, what they call the racing seat. Pretty much the same as the stock seat, but it does have the ribbed center section here, which, I don't know, maybe provides a little more traction. I think it just looks good. So I put that on there. Like I said, I do ride the bike on the street occasionally, so I remove the mirrors from the master cylinders and use the Rottweiler mirror mounts, which I mounted to the handguard. And when I run it on the street, I mount some CRG aero mirrors there, so that cleans it up pretty nicely. And while I was getting the bodywork painted, I went ahead and ordered some carbon fiber parts from Ducati. So these are the carbon, I guess, lower fairings, you can call it. And then the only annoying thing about these is they don't come with the kind of Italian flag emblem here that's on the OEM panel, which is just adhesive. So I pulled it off the OEM panel and stuck it on here, but it's not sticking amazing, so I'll fix that. But a little way just to keep more of an OEM look. And then I added as well the Ducati fork guards here in carbon. I did order these in carbon from Ducati, but I made a mistake in not realizing that this cover for the exhaust is different on the Termi than the OEM one, so I can't use that until they come out with a version that fits the Termi. But that would be my next modification from carbon in terms of, you know, cosmetics and carbon. What else? Talked about the seat. I added these, which I think are actually pretty nice. Ordered a Ducati Performance. I think they're the Supermoto foot pegs, but just a little stickier on top for track use, and they have a slider on the bottom. So if you drag peg, you got a built-in slider down there on the bottom. Forgot to mention when I was up here, but just added some basic Evotech crash protection sliders on the axles, front and rear, and then added the Evotech axle spools for a side stand. Also added the Ducati Performance carbon fiber headlight guard. Again, the bike is in track trim, so got the headlight all taped up. There's little turn signals here that wrap around, again, for when I do ride it on the street. And then I added the quick shifter, so I think a very nice addition. If you get the base model, I would recommend adding the quick shifter. Just not an obviously necessary item, but fun to have, nice to have, especially if you are riding the track. And then I added the factory Ducati Performance belly pan slash kind of skid plate, and then just a gold DID chain, stock sprocket, stock gearing for now. But just the gold chain is kind of a nice touch. Suspension is all stock. I did update it, not update it, adjust it, I should say, per Ducati's factory, I think it's track settings that they discuss in the owner's manual. And to be honest, for my weight with gear, I'm about 162 pounds on the bike. It's at the sag. I think it works really, really well. Feels good, really good on track. Would maybe stiffen the front a tiny bit more if I could. But overall, this bike does pretty well on track, especially some of the smaller, more technical tracks. Oh yeah, and then I forgot, of course I did the full Termi race exhaust. And this includes the Ducati air filter and Ducati up map, which honestly, you know, the bike is 70-ish horsepower from the factory, so it's, you know, it's fine, it's plenty. But I was really surprised at how lively the bike became once I did add the map and the exhaust and the air filter. It really did liven it up a lot. So for all you 698 mono owners out there, if you have one of these bikes and if you've been on the fence about doing an exhaust and a tune, my opinion, I think it's a must-have on these bikes. Again, not that they're slow or they're not fun stock, they certainly are, but the exhaust just kind of kicks it up a notch, and it really does make a noticeable difference, in my opinion, in the performance of the bike, and they just seem to run better here in the US, especially California. The, you know, bikes are pretty choked up, so it's a nice addition and works great on the track. So would recommend that. Speaking of track duty, the other change, which probably my favorite modification, as it usually is just a good set of tires. So I don't run slicks on this bike. I don't want to mess with warmers, and this is a street tire that performs, in my opinion, almost as well as a slick. So I think for this bike, it's a great option. These are the Super Corsa SCs. This is the V4 in the SC3 compound, which is a little bit more geared towards longevity than ultimate grip, but these tires are amazing on track. I did add the Evotech radiator guard as well. But yeah, if you guys are tracking your bike, or these are DOT, so if you don't, you know, care too much about wear life and mileage, you can run this on the street if you wish. But I've been very happy with the SC3s. I think it's a great tire, or the SC3 compound of the Super Corsa SCs specifically. So would highly recommend that tire if you're going to do some track times or aggressive street riding. But yeah, I think that's mostly it. Again, just, I know a shorter video. Just wanted to kind of give you guys an update since all my prior update videos were deleted. But yeah, this is the bike. You know, just in terms of reliability, I think a lot of people out there would say, oh, it's a new bike, it's the first year, you're gonna have issues. I'll be honest, I don't have a ton of miles on the bike. It's got under 1,000 miles, but many of those are track miles, and the bike has been problem-free. You know, do oil changes every 2 track days, take care of it. You know, I'm not sure what else there is to say. I think, in my experience, knock on wood, I have a few more Ducatis back there. Like, these modern ones are not what the old ones used to be in terms of reliability. You know, I'm sure any bike can have their issues. People have complained about, you know, master cylinders leaking on the Multistrada. Keep in mind that's a Brembo part, that's not a Ducati part. So it seems like a Brembo issue, not a Ducati issue to me. But look, like, these are new bikes, they have warranties on them, and I think Ducati's come a long way in terms of quality and reliability. And again, of course, there's always going to be somebody who has an issue and, you know, makes a big deal out of a problem. But, and look, I have other bikes too, you know, KTM, and big fan of Hondas. I'm not a Ducati fanboy by any means, but I just think they make the best bikes you can buy right now. And reliability-wise, maybe I'm just fortunate, but I've had no issues so far. You know, the bike is pretty comfortable. Again, I don't ride a ton on the street, but if you want something fun just to whip around on, I think this is a great option. It's a good price point, and I have a ton of fun on this bike on track. So if you want a track toy, I would recommend it. So anyways, guys, I think that pretty much covers it. Again, let me know if you have any comments, any thoughts. I'll put some videos up of the bike outside so you get a little bit better view just of how nice the paint turned out. But that's the update for my 698. Thanks for watching, and like I said multiple times, let me know if you have questions, and I appreciate it. Thanks. All right, so here's a few better, I guess, videos of the bike here in the sunlight. Kind of see more of the how the color actually looks, the paint, and full gloss trim here. So yeah, it certainly looks better than the stock OEM appearance, which again is very flat and dull. So pretty happy with how this turned out. I think it's a really good result. And again, thank you to Bell's Auto Sport in Huntington Beach for the work on this. Custom Ducati logo up front too.